So, we pushed up a little bit above the MM's expected move. We kind of tapped right up against that statistical high on my average of secret penises here, and failed. Fell back to the 5240 support level. This is below the 5264 CTA trigger. Probably has some relevance. It's not much below it, and we could bounce back overnight, but we don't have a lot of data tomorrow, so I'm not really sure that's going to be all that bullish. Nikkei pulled back really hard from its like 200 bip move up earlier. Well, I guess it's down like 400 bips from its peak earlier. ES failed the trends. Didn't need this one. And pulled back. Would lose support at 5250, which it's still floating a bit above. And that's going to be like the SPX like 5225 level. Commodities got a little bounce today. Not much. Dixie up overall, but down into the end of the day. Yields are still rising quite a bit. But the 2-year staying just barely ahead of the 10-year. And it could be that we're seeing the top end of the curve rise, which we are, right? More than the bottom end of the curve drops, which is bearish. Anyway, correlation broke back down. Hasn't quite hit the high from earlier today yet, but definitely a reversal. Forward yield on volatility at 12.32%. So not a very scary close. The carry trade got levered up on the stronger dollar. And total leverage is still around 6.9. Above 7, I would say that's probably bullish. If leverage continues to fall off, very bearish. Bond volatility trimmed back a little bit today along with 3-month correlation. Some of the tail risk hedges got pulled back yesterday, but probably replaced today. 30.41% of the S&P under its 20-day moving average, and correlation between VIX, cash VIX, at a whopping positive 95.9%. So very highly correlated now, almost 1-to-1, which is awesome. But it also means short vols mostly blown up. NQ not stopping. What, like downside? It's not dropping that hard yet. If it does, it'll be in the overnight, right? Yeah. So that's where we are. RSP is like where a lot of the weakness appeared to be today. It had a really hard time climbing at the same clip as the SPX, and so without any breadth coming in to support the move back into dispersion, it ultimately collapsed when it ran into some serious resistance, which it did at 53.10. Oil being below $80 should be illegal. Well, if markets are tanking, oil usually follows suit and then rebounds when the negative implication is realized in hard data. So you're saying either short vol, buy Mag 7, or dumpies. No, I think they tried to do that today, and they messed it up, right? Yeah, because of the implication. I'll take what I can get. All right. Well, we'll see what happens overnight, but I mean, there's not a lot of data tomorrow. I would say that we probably stay around this range. The problem here is if we lose 52.25, right, or well, 52.20-ish, we'll start to get sucked in by the JPM long puts and delta neutral, right? There's not enough positive delta neutral to hold prices up, and we keep rejecting. It's more likely that we're going to fall into or below delta neutral than stay above it, right? It acts as kind of like a gravity well, and especially because it's so close to the JPM puts and largely influenced by them, right? And so that's gonna, as this drops, the dealer's positive delta on the monthly chain is going to decline, right? Which means they're hedging less on the bounce, and we kind of just get sucked back into it. And so that's why when you get a bounce off of this, you need a really good fucking clean break to the upside, right? You needed to get the away from this range and get some padding in the MM hedge between spot and wherever, or well, between delta neutral and spot, right? So without that, any downside move is just gonna right back in. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope everybody has a lovely evening. I hope you all made some money today. I know it wasn't the most exciting day. Price action took a while to catch up after the morning's bounce, but I think it went pretty well. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Later.